Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to episode 16 in my Overly Scienced series. In the last episode, I built this counterflow heat exchange based petroleum boiler. The incoming crude oil is at about 90 degrees, and then the outgoing petroleum that's fed into these generators here is leaving at about 140. So the way this thing works, in case you missed the last episode, the crude oil comes out of this vent here and drops down on this staircase. And as it falls down, the petroleum in the piping here counterflows against it, and this petroleum was heated up by this aqua tuner down here. And so you have hot petroleum down here that goes up, and cold, well, relatively cold, crude oil that comes down the staircase here. And they exchange heat at each little step along the way, until at some point you get this conversion between crude oil and petroleum that happens at 400 degrees Celsius. So then the petroleum runs down, gets picked up by this pump, and then is pumped out. So this way, we don't have to make very much heat to convert the crude oil into petroleum because the heat is recycled using this heat exchange. The petroleum is then stored in these reservoirs here, and when they get full, which they are now, these just burn all of it. If the battery gets too low, then these will also burn. You need them to run, you need these generators to run when this is full, because if you have any backups in the outgoing petroleum, then the counterflow properties of this stop working, and you lose all of the efficiency of this entire thing. The focus of this episode will be on ranching. I will be ranching hatches and pokeshells. So if we look at the stats on the hatch here, it has a 2% chance to lay an egg every cycle. It lives for 100 cycles. So a hatch will always, well, a wild hatch will always lay an egg before it dies. And that's true for every critter, actually. Except for gassy moose. Gassy moose, they're different. However, when you are ranching them, so when they're happy, you add 15% on that, for a total of 17%. So within 100 cycles, every hatch should lay 5 eggs. Then if you come over and look at an incubator, it can increase the hatch time of an egg by 5 times. So theoretically, one incubator could keep a farm, or multiple farms, of 25 hatches in total, reproducing at the correct rate. Now, I don't plan on powering my incubators, so you lose this 5 times faster thing. That means that for every 5 hatches, I'm going to need 1 incubator. So it's going to be very similar to my pokeshell farm here. This is actually a little overbuilt. I should have put only 1 incubator per thing here. So if we look inside, max wrangle is 6. That's why I have 2, because it's above 5. If you allow more critters in a single ranch, then you might end up overcrowding it, which hurts the reproduction rate, which could screw up all of your other ratios. So what I plan on doing for the hatch farm, I'm going to change this max critter thing to 5, and then put in 1 incubator right underneath each ranch. I can calculate how big this farm needs to be based on how many hatches I'm going to need to completely consume all of the output from the regolith melter. It's been a while since I've talked about that, but that is going to be what provides all of the food for the hatches. The basic concept there is turn regolith into igneous rock at an immense power positive ratio, and then feed that igneous rock to all of the hatches. So I'm going to have two regolith melters that can do 1 conveyor rail each. So that will be 2 conveyor rails, and a conveyor rail can transport 20 kilograms a second. So a theoretical maximum of 40 kilograms a second will be leaving both regolith melters. So let's see how much a hatch can eat. A hatch can eat 140 kilograms per cycle. So let's get a calculator. We're going to have the 40 kilograms times 600. So that's how many kilograms I get per cycle, and then divide that by 140. So, oh my god. I can feed 171 hatches. Let's divide that by 5 to figure out how many farms we need. 30, okay, 34 farms. That's a lot of farms. And if each one is 5 tiles wide, 35 times 5, it's 175 tiles wide. That takes me all the way to the edge, and I still don't have enough space. Okay, that means we're gonna have to dodge this saltwater geyser, so... The top of the hatch farm will have to be here. So, I'm gonna have to move this stuff down a little bit. Now that the true scale of this project has revealed itself to me, I think I'm going to do some reconfiguring. So the plan, instead of having vertical farms, I'm gonna do horizontal farms, so each floor will be a ranch, or a stable. I think that's the correct name. Yeah, it'll be a stable. And then I'm gonna have a transit tube access spine here, and then another 2 stables, transit tube access spine, and then 1 more stable at the end. So it'll look more like this. And then the incubator can go in the stable. So each stable will get its own incubator. And I'm thinking I'll put the incubator not first. The thing that's going to be used the most often is the grooming station, so that needs to be closest to the door. Then the critter drop-off, then the incubator, and then the critter feeder. And then I'll put in a door here and do this little trick. So all of this space over here will count towards the total ranch space, but the hatches, because of this door, will be forced to stay in this area closest to where the duplicants can access them. That way they don't have to run all the way over here to maintain the hatches. So the final dimensions on this, from door to wall over here, or in between, it's going to be 25. Normally it would be 24, but because of this 3 and then this 1 mesh tile up here, that knocks out 1 whole column, so you have to make it 1 column wider, but it ends up saving duplicant efficiency because they can get to the hatches a little bit quicker because they're all condensed into this little area. So now I just need to copy this, well, a bazillion times because I'm going to need so many hatches. Alright, it took some finagling, but I think I've settled on a design here that fits within the space I have. So I've got 1 transit spine here, and I've got another transit spine here. There's going to be floors of ranches here, and then mirrored ranches over here. And then that is just going to be copied, or mirrored, I guess, over this wall right here. And I'll have 2 more sets per floor of ranches over here. And then that leaves me with 2 tiles on the very edge in case I need to do something over there. So I can just stack these on top of each other until I have enough ranches, or until my computer breaks, because ranching all of these hatches is going to cost a lot of frames. But confining them to a smaller area does improve frame rate. If they had all of this area to path to, then it would be worse. Now that they have built all of this, we can get into the interesting part. So, to feed hatches igneous rock, there's an intermediate step. So a hatch, just a regular hatch, can eat all of these different items here, but igneous rock is not on this list. If we take a look at stone hatches, they're the ones that can eat igneous rock. So what we have to do first is feed a regular hatch sedimentary rock, and then that increases their chances of laying a stone hatch egg. Then we'll take the stone hatch eggs, hatch them into stone hatches, and then we can feed those stone hatches all of the igneous rock I've got on the map here, which is over 5,000 tons. So I will set this to 5, and then I'm going to copy that to all of these. That way I don't have to change it later. So this will be set to hatches and hatchlings. And then over here, we're going to feed hatches sedimentary rock. And then there's a visual bug. Whenever you do the food for the adult, the food for the hatchling, or the child version of whatever critter you have, is also selected, but it's not shown. So, right, if I deselect it, it says no filters designated. Then when I reselected it, it actually shows the check. And then I can copy that into this one. And then down here, any stone hatches we might have on the map already, we'll go ahead and go in here. So stone hatch and stone hatchling. And then over here, we're going to select igneous rock. And then for the stone hatchling, I'm going to click that twice. Then copy that over there. So in here, actually in this one, there's already a stone hatch egg on the map. So we can select that one. Let's see, I think, yeah, they're all over here. So we're going to wrangle these guys and that one. It is going to take quite a while to populate all of these ranches here. So I'll go ahead and finish off this side, and then I want to get into the magma down here. All of the stables have been completed now. I realized I needed a little bit more ceramic, so I built another one of these, because I removed this one and blocked that all up. So this one just runs under the same principle. It's making me oxygen and clay, put the clay in the kilns, and turn it into ceramic. And then I noticed I'm getting kind of low on water over here, so I have redirected the oxygen flow to take advantage of this extra oxygen being produced over here. So these electrolyzers are no longer consuming water, and I'm pulling in oxygen to the two bases here using these pumps. It's starting to fill up with some hatches, and eventually I'm going to need, well, a lot more ranchers. I think I only have like 2 or 3 right now. I honestly don't know how many it's going to take to maintain this many critters. Like, this isn't even half of all of the hatches I would need to consume all of the incoming igneous rock from the regolith melters. But I think my computer would break before I get to that point. What I want to focus on now is putting in that ceramic floor down here, so that I can have all of these oil wells drop onto the ground instead of having all of these individual capsules for them. But now that there's a vacuum in here, I don't have to really worry about breaking down into the magma, because the magma can't transfer any of its heat into stuff up here because it's in a vacuum. But what I want to do first is convert all of these granite ladders into obsidian, because obsidian won't melt in magma, in case something does end up going wrong. Okay, now comes the stupid dangerous part. Just gonna remove a lot of this abyssalite. I'm going to shave all of this off. I'm also gonna shave this part off. So the goal is to bring all of the magma that's up above this layer here into one big uniform pool down at the bottom. And there will be a lot of cooked dupes in this episode, just a warning. Now that I've shaved off a lot of the top, I'm going to go ahead and do a big sweep and try and get some of this abyssalite out before it ends up at the bottom of the magma pool. It would be possible to send a dupe down there to go grab it. They would just get scalded on the way. Abyssalite is important when making insulation. So if you end up having all of your abyssalite stuck in a magma pool down at the bottom of the map, you can't really make any abyssalite. I mean, you can't really make any insulation. You could go out and harvest some from space, but that's just too much trouble. Doing a sweep now seems like the easiest way to avoid that whole problem. Alright, now that the stupidly dangerous part is over, it's time for the insanely dangerous part. If any of these liquid locks break during this next process, we will be releasing the full force of the magma biome on our base. There is a layer of protection here, but it would fry all of these transit tubes, and so I wouldn't be able to get back down into this area down here to fix the mess. So here's the plan. We're just going to take ladders and go across, and then anything that's above them, we will dig out. I'm also going to go down to here. I'm basically just going to do the whole magma biome. I'm going to put ladders everywhere. Because I eventually want to turn the bottom of the map into a magma storage thingy. Because there's so many volcanoes down here. Because I can then use the magma in a counterflow heat exchange for pretty much unlimited power. As if we need more power. And this is where it's really important to put the correct priorities. You want the dupes to finish the ladders first. Otherwise, they could end up submerged in the magma without any way of getting out. And that would be bad. So Lyra is completely submerged in magma, and she's only just now starting to take damage. You've got a window of about 20 seconds before they become incapacitated. To prepare for the carnage that is inevitably going to ensue, I'm going to put in some extra cots. I'm going to dig out all of this and slowly work my way down. Actually, let's leave a little bit of a floor there, because if a dupe digs out a tile that another dupe is standing on, they may take a dive. So as they build in diagonally to finish these ladders, I'm going to keep slowly chipping away at this remaining abyssalite. That way I don't get stuck in a scenario where a dupe is trapped in magma. Alright, ladder's complete. I completely remove that now. I think it's actually safe for me to dig into here, because there's a floor here already. I'm gonna expand this out a little more. You are scalding. Now you're infected by heat stroke. Okay, time to leave. So we're going to assign her here. Nicola just got back and he's already at half health. Yeah, this is the smarter side to work on. There you go. Oh, this isn't good. If she gets incapacitated while on this ladder, she's going to fall down to here and no dupe can go and grab her. So she needs to leave immediately. No, Devin. You can't build this yet. You're about to die. So we need to assign Devin to a triage card. That way he doesn't end up killing himself. Come on, buddy, you can make it. There you go. Alright, now it's Gosman's turn to get out of here. Let's move you up here. So we'll put her in this triage cot. All of this should be safe to remove here. Alright, Jean, time to leave. And Jean belongs over here. Whew, that was close. Nisbet is about to die. Okay, up here. And then let's assign you. You're already assigned. Let's slowly keep eating away at this here. Next little slice can go. And then the next one. Alright, now this whole thing can go. Now we'll start eating away at this abyssalite by the volcanoes. So every time I take another slice away, I'm making sure that there's a ladder underneath it. I can take this slice and that slice. Now this chunk here can go. Let's see, I think it's safe for me to remove all of this in one big chunk, because if they do end up getting stuck, they can get out over here. Oh, now they both fell. Because the floor, made of ceramic, obviously, it's gonna be here. And it's really not a big deal that the magma here is touching the ceramic. The ceramic has so little thermal conductivity that it's basically never going to transfer any heat. I'm going to extend this all the way over to here, because there's magma in the way here. Actually, I can just mop it up and then dump it out of a bottle emptier. Alright, we're gonna finish this then. I've got this sealed off now. I just need to mop up all this magma and figure out what I'm gonna do with it. See, I could put a bottle emptier right here. The only problem is that these volcanoes are gonna keep filling up the pool. Okay, Nicola, you're not gonna... You are very ambitious. You have half health and you want to dig all of that out. That's not going to happen. You are going to go back to your cot here. Alright, Ari, time to leave. You're at half health. They need to have some health left on them. That way they can actually make it back through the magma on their way out. I'll leave a little hole right here for any excess magma that I might pick up later on the lines. But I'm going to try and continue this out. Ada, are you sure you want to be doing that? You have no health. Nicola, time to move. Nothing's getting done because all of my dupes are out sick. It looks like all of this is safe to dig out now because there's a floor under it. I've been thinking, if I analyze and deconstruct this volcano, yeah, I'd only have 4 volcanoes, but then I could put this floor here in line with every other floor, because having it offset a little bit kind of bugs me. And really, who needs 5 volcanoes? I don't even know how to properly utilize 5 volcanoes worth of magma. So here's the plan. We're going to put in some ladders here so that my researcher can come in and analyze, and then I will issue a deconstruct and then move all of this ceramic down to where this ladder is. So Marie is going to take a lot of damage here. I think she will actually leave before she dies, though. There she goes, okay. I guess I don't have to micromanage them as much as I thought I did. Lyra, time to leave. And there she goes. I like the contrast between these two. Mima's all relaxing in the sun, and then these dupes are over here, burned alive. I suppose broiled would be a more accurate metaphor. So the ceramic is going to go here instead. And I'm going to build it at an angle, so as this one, because I don't want to lose any of this ceramic, so I have to put in the tile beneath it, deconstruct it, and then the debris will fall onto the tile below it. Otherwise I could get into a scenario where the ceramic here is going to fall all the way down to here, and I have no way of getting it back. She's back. I think this is going to be the slowest analyze I've ever done. Nisbet is trapped. And Lyra ran across over here. Let's see, if I cancel this, deconstruct this, I think my dupes will be okay. Ah! Someone come grab Lyra, please. Okay, she's fine. So we lost a little bit of ceramic. That's okay. But how did you... No! Okay. I swear, these dupes just try their hardest to kill themselves. No. If you do that, you'll trap yourself. Why would you do that? Move over here. No! There you go. No. No. I swear. Incapacitated. Why? Lyra, you can't build that. You're gonna die. Actually, maybe she'll pop up to the top. I think they might have patched that. Oh, nope, that's the worst thing that could have happened. Okay. Someone save Lyra! Hassan. Alright, good. So this in here, because there's no floor, I've got to be really careful right here. So I'm going to go one tile at a time. I have most of the bottom blocked up here now. I've put in some pumps to try and drain some of this magma. I'll just have them manually pump it and then drop it off over here. But this section is full now, so I need to go over and dig out some space for the magma. And hopefully they don't get too scalded while doing this. Now, even though the tail of the pitcher pump here is in the magma, only this section of it is subject to... oh, incapacitated. Will someone come grab Ari? Only the upper portion up here is subject to heat damage. I don't think my dupes are going to be able to work on anything that's any further away from this central ladder. Once I finish this, I think I'll just cap this off, and then any magma that can't fit back down in here, I will just drop off, I guess, over into the water tank over here. I'm probably going to need a bazillion steam turbines if I want to try and utilize all of this magma down here. And I do have quite a bit of room over here, but I think that might be for a different episode. In this episode, I want to focus on... well, I already went over the hatch ranch. I guess I could go over a little bit more detail on the pokeshell ranch here. The incubator ratio is incorrect. Do the same ratio that I used for the hatch ranch over here. So that's 5 critters in a stable for every 1 incubator. And you don't want to put any more than 5 per stable, really, because then the eggs start cramping the critters that are in there, and you won't get as many eggs from them, which you could turn all of the extra eggs into omelets. And actually, since these are cramped, what I can start doing is set this to stone hatch. And then this one to stone hatch. And this one to stone hatch, and you get the idea. And then I can copy all of this, and then copy this. And that should get all of the farms going here. But back to the pokeshells. If you haven't figured out the shipping configuration already, I have the polluted dirt coming across here. These auto sweepers actually, they're in the wrong place. They can't reach this. I'll have to fix that later. They have to aim for the green input. They can't reach, like, even though they can reach this top portion of the loader, they have to be able to reach this bottom part of it. But anyway, all of the polluted dirt comes over here into these receptacles, and then these auto sweepers pick it up from the receptacles and place it into the critter feeder. And then the auto sweeper is then used to grab any sand, and they put it over into the conveyor loader. It also picks up any eggs that they might lay. And then the eggs and sand are just dropped over here into the universal storage. The priority on these incubators is 9, so a dupe will come over, grab an egg, and put it in an incubator. And then any excess eggs, because this is on a priority 8, will end up being cracked over here. So if I were to redo this, I would just put 1 incubator per pokeshell farm. But back down to here, I want to clear out all of this magma, cap off these oil reservoirs with an oil well, get rid of all of this extra buildings up here, and just have the oil drop down onto the floor. And then after about this point, I'll have maybe some steam turbines up in here to help me eat through all of this magma, because this will provide a lot of power down here. Not that I really need the power, my battery is doing pretty well now. I suppose it wouldn't really be for the power, it would be more for just clearing out the magma. And I'll leave a link to a Francis John video where he actually goes in and gets rid of the whole magma biome. It's kind of cool. What I'm thinking very, very endgame, what I would do is have like a giant heat battery down here where Lyra doesn't die. Okay, good. Where I have a bunch of tepidizers and aquatuners. So I can use power to run tepidizers, which generates heat. So it turns power into heat. I can use the aquatuners to move that heat up into the heat battery, and then when that power is needed, I can drain the heat battery using steam turbines. So there are points where I have excess power, and I can use those points to create heat, and then use the heat as a battery, instead of storing everything inside of batteries. And I did some math on this a while back, and using supercoolant at the melting point or the overheat temperature of a thermium aquatuner gives you the highest energy density per tile of anything else in the game. So it would be the best battery. The only problem would be how many steam turbines I would need to pull power from that battery. But that'll probably be, if I ever do it, it will be the very last thing I do on this map, because it's completely unnecessary, overbuilt, that kind of stuff. And I still have to make the regolith melter, which is probably a couple episodes out. I'm thinking next episode I will go over the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen, and then copy this whole rocket setup over on the other side over here. Because this is a very important step before I make the regolith melter over here, because the oxygen that this produces is actually used in the regolith melter. Just a very tiny portion of it. This is bubbling up a little earlier than I had hoped. I wanted to try and force this magma to take up this vacuum bubble over here. I suppose I could just do something like this. I need to turn these off, otherwise it's gonna just bubble out over here. Wait a minute, what am I doing? I could just do this. There we go, now I'm using my brain. Magma is so viscous that it can get to a point where you can't even mop it up. Okay, looks like I can fit a little bit more magma in here, and then I'm gonna have to seal that up. I'm thinking what I'll do here, since this is pretty much full now, but I still have to analyze that. I think I'll wait for Marie to analyze that, then I'll block this up. But for now, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to put in a wall here, change this to obsidian, and then put a bottle emptier up here. So I can keep all of the magma over here. So all of these pitcher pumps here, they would auto-bottle the magma and then drop it off over here. That way I can clear out the floor here, so that the oil wells can just drop straight onto the floor. That means I can remove these pitcher pumps, and then I'll go ahead and take out these. I don't know how this is possible. There's too much liquid in a single tile. The tediousness of this whole process is starting to get to me. I have to deconstruct and then move this over 2 blocks because the magma refuses to flow. Okay, well, at least it's letting me mop up that section right there. Will it let me do it for this one too? No. So this one was less than 100 kilograms, this one is more than 100, and this one is also more than 100, so it looks like, I think don't quote me on this though, the mopping limit might be 100 kilograms. So I have to put in an entire pitcher pump just to grab that little blob there. I'm going to have to move this pitcher pump here to grab that little blob. I'm going to have to put in a pump here to grab this little blob. Okay, now that all the magma's gone down here, I can extend the transport system all the way down to the bottom of the map here. Actually, these bottom ones might not work because they'll be flooded most of the time. So let's not build them here. It looks like this one has picked up all of the magma that it can. I'm gonna get rid of it. Move it over here. What is that? Why is there gold here? This will be Marie's, like, 5th time getting incapacitated just trying to research this volcano. There we go. We got it. That means I can go ahead and seal this up now and then not let any dupes back into the depths of the core. Every time they run over this point right here with a bottle of magma, I'm always afraid they're gonna drop it down into here and flash all this oil into sour gas, and it's gonna break my whole vacuum I got going on. But they haven't yet, so that's a good thing. They did drop this one. That was just a few tiles closer. It could have caused a problem. There was another one that just fell. Oh, that one was really close. Alright, my dupes have almost got all of this cleared out here. On the places where I couldn't build a pitcher pump, like right here, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and use a temperature shift plate made from diamond to try and solidify the magma so I can just sweep up the debris. So let's see if this works here. Ah, perfect. Now that the floor is nice and clean, all of the magma is over here. I'm gonna seal this up so that I can maintain a vacuum in here, because when I break into these, all the natural gas is going to escape as well. So I can use this whole space down in here, this whole oil biome, as an oil and natural gas reservoir. So instead of leaving like 9 kilos in here, I can use this whole space to store. Okay, this is sealed up, so now we enter the point of no return. I'm going to deconstruct all of the casing here. The oil wells still need something to stand on, so I'll go ahead and put in some mesh tiles. All of the automation is unnecessary. I can deconstruct all of the background buildings, and then the power wire can take a more direct route now. All of these gas pipes aren't needed anymore. And then the output pipe, so the crude oil pipe here, this one is going to be removed as well. And to me, this just looks so much cleaner. What I could do even is hide the piping on the power wire. Or I could hide the power wire on the piping. I think I'll hide the piping on the power wire. I can remove all of these shells here. I'm just gonna get rid of all of the background buildings. This one just exploded with natural gas over here. Oh my god, I didn't realize how much pressure I had stored up. 108 kilograms. There is no more need for automation. Get rid of all that. Let's go in and clean up all of this wiring. The plumbing here, we can clean that up as well. That also means that I don't need any of these gas pipes. So see, this is why I have these buffers here. So the input for the crude oil has stopped because I broke all these pipes. But I'm running off of these reservoirs for now. So I need to hurry up and get this connected back up. But that should not be a problem. I can just trace this down to here and put in a pipe. Power. Gotta remember I'm gonna hide it behind the pipe. So I'm gonna come over one. Like that. Or, sorry, I'm gonna hide the pipe behind the power wire. And then to power this pump, I guess I can do the same thing that I'm doing with the oil wells. Just hiding it like that. I guess I should probably get rid of this thing too. And then for the final thing, I'm just gonna do a big old sweep. Alright, they've just connected this pipe back up. So you can watch the crude oil flow back in here. That should trigger the counterflow. There it goes again. So I'll go over the settings on these again. I think I might have changed them from the last setup. This one is set to work when the liquid pressure is below 540 kilograms. This one stayed the same, it's still at 530. This one is 739.7. That took some finessing to get correct. And then this thermosensor up here is still 450. So I'd actually prefer to have a little bit more petroleum in here as a buffer. So I don't want this... Oh, we just ran out of power. Why did we run out of power? Oh, right, because these... Okay, here we go. I gotta hurry up and set up these pumps. Okay, this is working again. Should get some more power. Okay, this is turned back on. Excellent. So back to what I was trying to say. I want to keep a little bit extra petroleum in here. So I'm going to snip this momentarily. Let this build up, and then connect it back up. I think that should be enough. Let me connect this back. And that should remain stable. So I have a big oil reservoir down here that this can pull on when I need more petroleum. And then I've got a giant gas reservoir down here that I can pull on when I need to burn off some natural gas. So this magma, I still have to figure out what to do with this magma. So let's see, what did we cover in this episode? We went over the hatch ranch, ways that I should improve my pokeshell ranch, and then my ideal oil setup down here at the bottom. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this episode. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.